Take-Two Interactive, the parent company for Rockstar Games, which develops the Grand Theft Auto franchise, has dumped its diversity language from its 2025 annual report, although it still maintains its commitment to inclusion. I wrote this up over at phantompulse.com. You can find the link in the description below. And if you go back to Take-Two Interactive's 2024 annual report, or its SEC Form 10-K, you can find an entire section labeled Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. It says here, we firmly believe that diverse teams are more valuable and effective, and that diversity is key to our success. We know that is absolute bunk. There are repeated studies now that show that that just simply is not the case. Homogenous teams are actually more efficient and more successful than teams that are diverse and not homogenous. Nevertheless, they go on and says, we are committed to enhancing workforce diversity at Take-Two, and we strive to provide an inclusive workplace in which everyone feels respected, heard, and safe. We believe our culture of compassion and respect fosters a warm, welcoming environment for all qualified candidates and colleagues. So it looks like they are indeed admitting that they engaged in illegal hiring practices there, noting that they are committed to enhancing workforce diversity. We know that that means that they are clearly hiring people based on things such as race, such as sex, and even such as so-called sexuality. So it looks like they were admitting that in their annual report. They go on and say specific efforts we take include company-sponsored service projects in the communities in which we operate, providing financial and other support to organizations working to eradicate social justice, as well as providing educational, athletic, and other opportunities to underserved communities, working with organizations to support the rights of the LGBTIQ plus community, endeavoring to expand the diversity of our industry's candidate pool through scholarships to minority game design students, and contributions to organizations providing STEM opportunities to children in underserved communities, delivering interview training and career counseling to young adults in those same communities, and celebrating cultural differences through various employee affinity groups and company events and offerings. So that was all in their 2024 report. They also have a section called Talent and Assessment and Development and Employee Experience in the 2024 report, where they say they got all of these awards because of the things that they have done, which includes beyond formal performance management, we stay connected with our teams throughout the year with global town hall meetings, engagement and pulse surveys, culture assessments, and employee roundtables. The feedback generated through these tools helps to ensure we are providing a supportive, dynamic, and stimulating work environment for all of our employees. So it sounds like they are indeed even providing performance management, bonuses, etc., based on what your race, sex, and sexuality happen to be. And they got all these awards here that they're touting for that. And that was in their, again, talent assessment and development and employee experience section of this annual report. And then later on in the report, they actually admit that if they did not act responsibly in regards to diversity and inclusion, it could put the company at risk. It says many factors influence our reputation, including the perception held by our customers, business partners, and other key stakeholders. Our business faces increasing scrutiny related to environmental, social, and governance activities. We risk damage to our reputation if we fail to act responsibly in a number of areas, such as diversity and inclusion, environmental stewardship, supply chain management, climate change, workplace conduct, human rights, and philanthropy. I think they put diversity and inclusion as the top area on purpose, right? Obviously, noting that that is probably the area that they think is their most important one, and if they don't act responsibly in it, it could harm the company's reputation, including impact employee engagement and retention, and the willingness of customers and our partners to do business with us, which could have a material adverse effect on our business, results of operations, and cash flows. So they were literally admitting just last year that if they did not act, quote, responsibly towards diversity and inclusion, it could cause adverse effects on its business, results of operations, and cash flows. So all of this is gone in the 2025 annual report. The diversity, equity, and inclusion section has been replaced by one called community and engagement. That section says, we firmly believe that diversity of thought drives the innovation that is integral to our success. We strive to provide an inclusive workplace in which everyone feels respected, heard, and safe. Our culture, grounded in compassion, collaboration, and a commitment to excellence, supports an inclusive and welcoming environment for prospective employees and the broader community. Nowhere else in the report is the term diversity used. It is only used here where it says we firmly believe that diversity of thought drives the innovation that is integral to our success. So that is interesting that they have removed this entire diversity, equity, and inclusion section just 1 year later. They're no longer saying that if they don't act responsibly towards diversity and inclusion, then they would have adverse effects towards their business, etc. That's all gone. It's all gone. So it's unclear why that section has been removed and why they're no longer saying that if they are not responsible towards diversity and inclusion, that they would face adverse effects, etc. No idea why that stuff has been removed all of a sudden just a year later. One would think if it was potentially providing adverse effects last year, it would still be providing adverse effects this year. However, it's possible that those adverse effects now are if you actually engage in the illegal and immoral activity that they were clearly engaging in, at least last year. Probably going back a number of different years, because we know that President Donald Trump and his administration, he signed an executive order, President Trump did, titled Ending Illegal Discrimination and Restoring Merit-Based Opportunity. The order said that critical and influential institutions of American society, including the federal government, major corporations, financial institutions, the medical industry, large commercial airlines, law enforcement agencies, and institutions of higher education have adopted and actively use dangerous, demeaning, and immoral race and sex-based preferences under the guise of so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion, or diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility that can violate the civil rights laws of this nation. It notes these illegal DEI and DEIA policies not only violate the text and spirit of our longstanding federal civil rights laws, they also undermine our national unity as they deny, discredit, and undermine the traditional American values of hard work, excellence, and individual achievement in favor of an unlawful, corrosive, and pernicious identity-based spoils system. And I think it's pretty clear that Take-Two was obviously engaging in that, and that's why they had all of that stuff in their 2024 report. It is noticeably absent in the 2025 report, and I think this executive order has a lot to do with it, because the executive order goes on and says in order to eliminate these policies, especially in the private sector, President Trump ordered his agency heads to provide him a report that identifies the most egregious and discriminatory DEI practitioners in each sector of concern, and to create a plan of specific steps or measures to deter DEI programs or principles that constitute illegal discrimination or preferences. Furthermore, he indicated that litigation as well as regulatory action could be taken against companies that engage in these practices. Since the signing of that executive order, the Federal Communications Commission, the FCC, has opened investigations into NBC Universal as well as the Walt Disney Company. So I think it is likely that Take-Two Interactive is clearly responding to President Trump and his administration and this executive order, and they have removed this DEI language from their SEC 2025 Form 10-K annual report. Now, do I think that they've actually changed anything in their business? Probably not. Probably not. Because you can see here they are still committed to providing an inclusive workplace in which everyone feels respected, heard, and safe. I think what we're seeing here is that they are changing their language right now without actually making any kind of policy changes so far. And one would expect that a potential investigation into this company is warranted to see if they are actually making any of these changes or if they are still discriminating against people when it comes to who they are hiring, which they literally admitted that they were doing last year in their diversity, equity, and inclusion section of their annual report, and then also admitting that if they weren't adhering to diversity, inclusion, or responsibly acting towards it, it would put their business at risk. And clearly, they're not saying that anymore, but I don't think that they've actually changed anything. And I do think that an investigation is warranted into this company, given the fact that they're just changing the language here. And we really need to know if they've actually changed any kind of policy, because they can write all that they want, but it's actions here that really matter. You will know them by their fruits. And right now, the fruit looks really, really rotten over there at Take-Two. It doesn't look fresh and juicy. But let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know what you make of them removing it. I do think it is interesting that it has been removed. It shows that the law can be a teacher and that these companies will learn from the law if the law is actually enforced. And we are seeing these companies be investigated, etc. And these companies don't want to have the federal government coming investigating what they are up to, especially if they have other things that they want to be hiding as well. And I think that means that we should be investigating them even more. And I hope that the feds do launch an investigation into Take-Two to see if they are indeed still engaging in these policies here, and if they're doing other things that they probably aren't doing or shouldn't be doing. But let me know again what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, especially to each other, and to always, always speak the truth.
Why would you be afraid of the people? Why are you not afraid of God instead of man?